everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. We're taking a look at TAEMIN's ACE concept video by the BeatBurger project. Now I have heard BeatBurger for some of their stuff, but I have not seen this, and I'm pretty excited about it because it's a concept in comparison to a dance practice or a performance by TAEMIN, so I can't wait to watch. So let's go ahead and check it out.
한순간에 널 찾아낸 난 정신없이 조금 더 가까이 촉촉한 입술은 꿀 상상만 했던 그래 너를 원해 아직 여자를 잘 모를 것 같다고 난 사랑에서도 어린 완전인 같다고 그저 난 그 모습 그대로 믿는 거
I wonder if he can see and with his freaking fringe like that. There we go. You can see a little bit there. That was a fun little masking effect. Oh. I bet you he did this entire thing, this whole shot, he did by himself, and they masked all the dancers in here. Yep. There. And then they cut it. Now there's all of them. That was a cool effect though. I liked it. That was cool. Oh, that was a good masking effect right there. Oh, letting the dancers shine a little bit right here. Wow. That was a little tease we saw there. Wow. It's pretty good. I mean, definitely. Oh, look, they slowed it down right here. Is this like, what is this? Computer performance director, computer directing DOP. Oh man. Choreographer Greg Huang. Okay. I mean, this was pretty good. I mean, no big qualms here. I do think I see a major, like a significant more influence on more tension here, a little bit of sensual teasing, but nothing overboard. And I think a great usage of the cinematography and the masking effects and a lot of that in terms of the choreo. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So I did a little bit of snooping, and Greg Huang I think is in this because some of the shots that I saw, like some thumbnails of some of the videos when you type his name in, he looks very similar to the guy with the blonde hair here. Not just, yeah, so I think that's kind of cool. So the snap right here, I like that. I don't know if that was just they just audio overlaid it or what. I mean, I'm assuming yes, but a really great timing on it for sure. It does carry a more like, it does give that 2000s aesthetic about it, even though we're in the mid-2010s here. Pretty good job. Honestly, you start seeing some symptoms of what we really find impressive of him whenever we see him in move. And so I kind of start to see that identity of movement quality here. I think this is Greg. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm just going off of the thumbnails. So we're going to kind of do like a little comparison between how Greg does it and TAEMIN does it, and honestly some of the other dancers. So if you look here, they're pretty spot on. My guy here actually chose to really use that hinge a little bit more. For me, my ball would be in that court a little bit more than here, but I think there's beauty in the eye of the choreographer choreographic perspective, and TAEMIN really integrating and using that. So I think that's super cool. Bringing it up, love right here, boom, twinkle, head, great intention through that, swinging it through, boom, and then we bring it up, very slightly spacing right here. Notice it's just very minor. You could tell that they are closer than these two are, so that would be my little general note. Also, they come up, typing it down, boom, ding, ding. Also know that TAEMIN really keeps it by his head, and I really do like that. Told you, his implicit fingerprint is the usage of fixed points within popping. Like what you see in popping, that's what he caters to, TAEMIN does, because it really helps create different moments that can really tailor into a lot of his aesthetic, which tailors into the inspiration Michael Jackson, James Brown, things of the like, or the choreographers affiliated. It's really swirling it in or creating a nice little finger wave to create that next moment. The guys dive in. I don't feel like my two dancers are on the same page. I am assuming that this is Greg Kwong, who is the choreographer, so that would be the individual you would want to most easily replicate in the terms of synchronicity. And that's one skill set of a professional dancer, not a professional choreographer or an educator or somebody who dances more to help refine choreography or be better as a visual learner representative. In my case, for me, I would rather, I see the skill set of being able to replicate the intention of a choreographer to the mechanics, and that's a really big skill that you need to have in order to thrive within the field. For me, I prefer to do it the way that feels the most appropriate for me and the musicality that I've trained in for the type of track that it is. So for me, like I said, I would rather placate to doing the movement the way that he does it in some aspects, even though it would look more effective if they both were on the same page. Does that kind of make sense? And that's a skill that a professional dancer has that really helps create those types of images through tours, through music videos, concepts, things like that. So having this here, digging it in, boom, bringing it up. Notice he grabbed in the thighs. He has more of a fist. I like that accent there. I like the usage of having the white for TAEMIN and then having them sink into that hip here. Ding, ding. Really like that switch as well, sinking it in. Accents once again. TAEMIN goes more front and having this nice little moment with our dancers with the zoom in. I love this here. We already start seeing this little head ISO situation. All you do is you kind of transfer that type of tension in with the hips and you got your move choreo, right? So seeing this information right here is really nice. Digging it in, boom, and diving it through. Really enjoy that. Now having your females come in the shot. Notice they're really sitting in the hips. They have a really nice understanding of how to travel up the energy through the hips. I also love that little silhouette moment with the light. Sapping it through. Notice he still has it sensual, but he carries a more like pedestrian neutral posture compared to the ladies. They're kind of partying on their own, which is nice, you know, switching that ding ding boom. There's a little hip ISO. Ladies really rotated to even showcase and show off the hip. For him, he kept it isolated to the pelvis more towards the front, but kept the rotation around. So that's how those two look subtly different. Right there, you can notice he clocked, his eye clocked somewhere. I'm assuming it's more of a logistics thing he was clocking to make sure he was in the right and proper spacing for that. But notice he goes, he hits it through, transitions, moves over. Really great moment. The ladies come up. He comes down. He travels his hand down as the ladies come up. It creates a nice fixed point. I'm telling you, we're learning a lot of stuff. Boom, boom. There you go. You have a really nice energy he showcased here. This was really fun to see. Now for me, I'm going to assume that this was three shots that were done, and then they masked it over. So what I mean by mask cut is they did, it's on his, camera's on a tripod, and you see this a couple times, and then what they did is they shot him in 3 different locations, and then they just masked it together. I've done this in a couple of video shoots, and it's just really impressive, but it doesn't require, it's just more tedious to make sure that you don't have some of the light is not as influenced. Like when you get shadows, that's where it gets really dicey and tricky. But he did a fantastic job here, diving in, nice, like, you know, like when you're holding a lady, you know, it kind of gives off that energy there, which is really cool. Now this shot, I really like. It goes here, boom, boom. Now this part, I want you to notice, these dancers were not here when he shot this take. He was here by himself. I'm feeling pretty confident about it. These dancers were then, so it's 2 different tripod shots, and then they masked it however they wanted to manipulate it. So they shot TAEMIN, and then they shot the dancers by themselves, and then they masked it this way. Because you can tell by the shadows, that right there, do-do-do-do-do, really cool. It's just cool and very strategic on the lighting choice. The tension, they build up the energy. This is where concept videos really come to play. It's just fun. They also, I'm assuming the choreographer really had to be mindful. If that was something that was in the conversation from the get-go, hey, we want to do masking cuts and kind of take them away and this and that and the other, then Greg would probably really want to be mindful of the range, because you don't want your range to be too full, because then that's more masking effort that is required of your editor to make sure that you don't have anybody's hand that's like faded, like an ombre fade out between the type of masking cut that you want to make. And you don't want it to be like, oh, their hand got chopped off in that moment. You don't want to reveal your cinematic secrets, pretty much. So a lot of this, you notice, does feel a little bit more internal. But I like that little, little moment that TAEMIN did with a little step out and pulling on that suspender. And then it click, 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 the dee-dee-dee-dee. Notice we got 4 of them. That was really cool. And then you have your ladies. It's just, that was really cool having the same guy 4 times. Like, that was different. And then having them all, and then you have all your dancers. And then, it's just really, really cool. And you just have TAEMIN. TAEMIN's by himself, and I love that. That's cool. I hadn't quite seen that particular type of masking cut as often, because it's more tedious. That was really, really sick, though. Diving more into the ISO, influence, the tension, push and pull is mostly the main point of the choreo. Shifting in and out, so it's allowing us to really feel through 100% of the move that they want to showcase here. Really nice to see that bing, 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 ding. Love that energy. Boom. Notice with the hips. Goodness gracious, my guys. Looks good with the kick out. Love that with the circle, and I love the eye contact that some of the dancers give to the camera. It's just nice, and it feels like it's a communal event, even though TAEMIN's our focus. Once again, focusing right here, the leans, and then draping it over to the other side. Everyone's putting it down really well. That here. Now, a lot of people may be like, Jazz, this is really, really difficult to do. It depends on the styles that you specialize in. So for me, because I do waving and I'm really familiar with my personal movement quality, I understand how to create tension in isolations. This type of style does not, I feel more comfortable pursuing a style like this in comparison to more high energy, crump, like more heaviness, more masculine styles are still ones that require more effort for me to convert for my body and more drilling. But for this kind of stuff, I'm able to really, the music's able to take more of a front in comparison to my my mental capacity trying to get the choreo. Does that make sense? Or trying to make the choreo look comfortable. I know how to make the choreo look comfortable. It just depends on how many sequences or how beginner, intermediate, or advanced the syncopations or the intention behind the positioning is. So for me, this is not going to be as difficult for me. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like move, I'm not going to look like TAEMIN, but whenever I do, I am going to cover move. I'm going to do the best that I can on the chorus and try to do as best as I can to replicate how TAEMIN does it. But TAEMIN grew up in a Michael Jackson implicit influenced environment. I did not. I grew up in a studio structure that came from an over isolation of the posture of my torso because it came from a ballet background. But now I'm heavy into the street style, so I'm way more catered into the legato, the grooves. So it's going to be harder for me to replicate TAEMIN because my body type is so different than his. And we have 2 completely different educational backgrounds, and that is absolutely fine. And that's where you can find beauty in that. TAEMIN moves is very distinct, and how he moves is very distinct. And these dancers, a lot of times, it's really hard to find people that match this level of energy and tension. So I want people to be, I feel at the end of the day, like, be gracious to me whenever you see my cover of it, but also keep in mind there is a lot of the actual construct or the fundamentals of what he's doing is not necessarily the hardest thing in the world. It's about, can I match TAEMIN? That's a lot harder to match TAEMIN than it is to do the technique, if that makes sense. So all that, I just needed to make that little disclaimer. This kind of feels like a little, not a sequel, a premise to what you would see in Move. Truly. Gives off that energy. Ding, ding. Love that. Syncopation. To do a little turn. Build up the energy. I love the quickness of the turn. It really helps us be able to like channel in that section of the music, which I like. Here we go. We finally moved our hair out of the way before it stabs us in the eye again over here. I don't know how guys do it. I literally grew my bangs out over the past year. I mean, of course, it looks like I don't have hair. I do have hair. I just pull it up a lot of times because I don't want to mess with it sometimes. But I used to have just fringe all the time and for years, and I hated how it would grow just long enough to be stabbing me in the eye. I don't know how guys do it, especially ones where they just have to perform and they just live with it. I really struggle with that, so much so I just grew it out. I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Yep, hitting it through. I like just the walk around. He gets to just engage and invest in this particular part of the track. Yeah, building up the energy. He does a really, really great job of just staying present. And it helps me want to stay present. That was a really nice masking where they panned it over to a more like opaque or opacity, right? Where it's more like very clear that it is black. And then it's very easy for that camera to pan to a new costume change. And I love that. It's fun. He hops on that stage. Now, what I mean by having the dancers take the forefront, yes, he's center, but look at these dancers. They're more projected to the front. I love that diving down right here. There's where you get this little sensual moment. Diving it through, turning it through. A little tap and threading it through the inside, folding that knee down. It's just very precise. Taking it in, look, that little push right there. It's just very clean, and just how he pushes is like, well, you can take it there, but he's reserving on purpose. So it's like that kind of tease, flirtatious, but not like, it's just very refined, I guess, which I really like. It's just clean in general. I love that tap, tap, tap. Really enjoy that. Diving it through, love that hit through as well. And I love how he takes it over. Goodness, I hate it when YouTube does that. It's my mouse that I have. Oh, what did I just do? I did something. Anyway, hitting it through, ding ding. Of course, once again, the ladies braced it out even more. He made it a little bit more intimate of a moment. I love that choice. And he threw the little swing. Everybody walked away. He chose to unbutton like it was nothing. How can he do that? Which I can barely. I'm not able to do that very well at all. So it's very impressive when people can just do those types of things that you just don't think to do. Like, goodness, I wish. That's a really good skill to have, you know? Because buttons can be very tedious. And I know I'm focusing so much more on that, and the intention behind it was more so like, you know, ba ba boom. It was nice though. I mean, we finished more of an escalation by showing more flirtatious or teasing choreo, but at the end of the day though, it was still very tame, and it felt like he puts the tame in TAEMIN. But I really liked this. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I am looking forward to continue to see him progress this particular concept of movement quality in other works that he has in the future. This was really nice. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to see more TAEMIN or Shiny, I have it always early released on Patreon. Sometimes it's a couple days, sometimes in this case it's probably going to take a couple months, maybe even a year before this makes its way to YouTube at the time that I'm recording this. And if you're somebody who likes to binge stuff, I got so much on Patreon in terms of K-pop, marathons. Those are the most bingeable things you can look at. And I also do full episode reactions of reality shows or reality dance shows that showcase freestyle or other components of choreography that I love taking a look at from a toolkit analytical standpoint. So if that's something that interests you, Patreon's a really great way to dive into that. If you're totally fine with just seeing what I pop up on YouTube every day, that's also cool, and I love being able to be a part of the journey with you in that sense. Once again, I am Jess. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye!